I'm going to talk about persuasive writing today. Not many students know there are three main types of technique that you can use in persuasive writing, and the best articles, speeches, etc., they use all three. Now, those three start with influencing the reader's emotions. So the first one is called Pathos, which means any technique that tries to influence a reader's emotions, like using emotive language, or using a rhetorical question, or using exaggeration, using similes and metaphors to try and conjure up images in the reader's mind. That's pathos, number one. Number two is about facts and logic and rational arguments, and that is called logos, so using logic to persuade the reader that something is true and appealing to the rational part of their mind. So logos involves things like facts, statistics, evidence, or just any logical reason that something makes sense and that we should accept it as true. And then the third is called ethos, which is to do with who you are as a writer and why someone should listen to you. So this is to do with your own personal experience. You might tell stories or anecdotes. You might have a persona where you actually make up a background for the person you are writing as in your persuasive writing. Pretend to be someone you're not, like pretend to be a teacher or an experienced expert so you have credibility and so that people listen to you. So all three of those are needed in persuasive writing. Now, you need to have pathos because if you just had logos and ethos, they would listen to you, they'd be convinced in their mind, but they wouldn't care. You need to engage the heart as well. They wouldn't be emotionally involved. If you didn't have pathos, then they would simply not care about the conclusion. If you didn't have logos, they would think you're trying to trick them because it wouldn't make sense. They'd feel emotionally engaged, but logically it wouldn't add up and they'd be suspicious of you. And if you didn't have ethos, they'd be kind of convinced if they listen, but they might not listen to you in the first place because they would think, well, why should we care what you have to say or trust your opinion? Because they don't have any reason to think you're an expert or have authority to talk about the topic. So you need all three together to actually persuade an audience. You can use this anytime you're writing an essay for a persuasive writing topic, like most of Language Paper 2, Section B. So if you're doing a speech or an article or anything like this where you're trying to influence an audience, you can use these techniques. And I also recommend when you're reading pieces of non-fiction writing, try and spot where the author has used these three types of persuasion. Try to group together the techniques that actually link into those three. And analyze how authors have done this, because these correspond to three parts of the human mind and they go back to ancient Greece and they are a proven and effective method that's been used for thousands of years to influence and persuade people. And if you study any famous speeches in history by people like Abraham Lincoln or Winston Churchill, then you'll see they used these three methods to persuade people and to change the world. So that's my big trick for today, to use what we call, now the three together, I haven't told you this yet, are called the Rhetorical Triangle. Yeah, rhetorical does not mean a rhetorical question. No. Rhetorical means persuasive, so a rhetorical question is a question intended to persuade. Hence, the rhetorical triangle is the persuasive triangle. Three methods of persuasion that form a triangle. Why a triangle? Because there are three, and because all three are equally essential. You take away any one side of a triangle, you don't have a triangle anymore. Hence, all three are essential, therefore it is a triangle. So, try to use this in your own work over the coming weeks and months, and I hope you find this helpful. If you did, press subscribe because we have more advice like this being released every day, Monday to Friday, and I will see you very soon.